Forget everything you learned in Sunday school because the North Pole just turned into a degenerate reality show that would make Bravo producers blush. Word on the icy street is that Mrs. Claus got kicked to the curb because Saint Nick has officially developed a fetish for green fur. That is right, Santa is banging the Grinch, and honestly, it explains why the ice caps are melting faster than my will to live. We are talking about a power couple that makes every celebrity train wreck look like a wholesome Hallmark movie featuring two white people in sweaters. You think your family dinner is awkward? Imagine bringing a termite-infested, onion-eating goblin home to meet the elves while wearing nothing but a red hat. This is not just a midlife crisis, it is a full-blown catastrophe wrapped in tinsel, bad decisions, and enough eggnog to kill a neurotic reindeer. Let us be real for a second. Santa has been married to the same woman for centuries, and she is basically a living, breathing beige cardigan. She smells like nutmeg and repression, so it makes total sense that Kris Kringle finally snapped, drank some fermented reindeer milk, and downloaded Grindr. He did not want another cookie baker, he wanted a toxic project, someone who smells like hot garbage and has serious daddy issues to fix. Enter the Grinch, the absolute king of gaslighting, gatekeeping, and girl-bossing his way through a mountain of trash while hating everyone in the zip code. Their first date was probably at a dump behind a Jersey Mike's, sharing a half-eaten sub and complaining about the noise levels of pure joy. You just know the sexual tension was thick enough to cut with a rusty saw because opposites attract like moths to a glorious dumpster fire. Santa is all about giving and being jolly, while the Grinch is basically an emo teenager living in a cave who hates social interaction. It is the classic I can fix him dynamic, except the person trying to do the fixing is a magical geriatric with zero boundary issues. Can we talk about the absolute nightmare that is the physical logistics of this relationship, without everyone collectively vomiting into their stockings right this second? The Grinch has the skin texture of a moldy avocado, and Santa is built like a beanbag chair stuffed with marshmallow fluff and cholesterol. The cuddling situation alone is a biohazard because one of them is covered in green shag carpet and the other sweats straight maple syrup. Imagine the friction. The static electricity generated between that red velvet suit and the Grinch's fur could probably power the entire eastern seaboard grid. And do not even get me started on the breath situation because the Grinch eats glass and onions while Santa subsists on pure sugar. A single makeout session between these two monstrosities would likely create a new atmospheric layer composed entirely of halitosis and regret that kills birds instantly. The elves are definitely creating a burner account on Twitter to leak the details because the workplace environment has become completely toxic and hostile. You think your boss bringing his weird new girlfriend to the office party is bad? Try working for a guy dating a literal monster. The workshop is no longer a happy factory of dreams. It is a therapy session where Hermie the dentist is prescribing Xanax to the reindeer. The Grinch is definitely walking around the factory floor criticizing the craftsmanship and telling the elves that their work is derivative and emotionally hollow. He is probably repainting the sleigh matty black and replacing the jingle bells with a sound system that only plays aggressive German techno music. Rudolph is currently in rehab because the Grinch bullied him about his nose, calling it a safety hazard and a cry for attention. Meanwhile, Santa is blinded by love, walking around wearing "I'm with stupid" t-shirts and letting the Grinch reorganize the entire naughty and nice list. Suddenly, being a little brat is considered edgy and authentic, so all the bullies are getting PS5s while the good kids get dirt. The gift-giving logic has completely collapsed because the Grinch convinced Santa that giving kids what they want is actually just enabling their capitalist consumerism. So now little Timmy is not getting a bicycle. He is getting a bag of rusty nails and a lecture on the inevitable heat death of the universe. The sleigh ride is going to be a disaster because the Grinch refuses to stop and ask for directions and insists on driving stick. He is throwing empty beer cans out the side of the sleigh, aiming for pedestrians, while Santa laughs and says, "Oh, you are so crazy." Max the dog has been demoted to the back seat, forced to wear the antlers, while Dasher and Dancer plot a violent mutiny mid-flight. The aesthetic of Christmas is shifting from cozy winter wonderland to abandoned warehouse rave faster than you can say hostile corporate takeover at the pole. Mrs. Claus is rightfully suing for half the empire, and her legal team consists of the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny who smell blood. This divorce is going to be messier than a glitter bomb exploding in a ball pit, and honestly, we are all here for the drama. The tabloids are having a field day with headlines like "Santa's Green New Deal" and "Is the North Pole now a swingers club for furries?" Parents are trying to explain to their kids why Santa looks so tired and why the mall Santas are now required to be actively mean. No, sweetie, Santa isn't mad at you. He's just in a codependent relationship with a narcissist who hates joy now sit on his lap. The Grinch is trying to gentrify Whoville by turning the town square into an artisanal toast bar that charges $15 for a slice of bread. He is bringing that big city, I am better than you energy to the Who's, mocking their singing and calling the roast beast pedestrian. Cindy Lou, who is organizing a protest, but the Grinch just calls the cops on her for loitering, claiming she is bringing down the property values. Santa is just standing there in the background drinking a martini, completely checked out, mumbling about how change is good while his empire burns down. Let us talk about the morning after. Because you know the Grinch does not make breakfast, he just steals the silverware and leaves a passive-aggressive note. Santa waking up with a hangover and green fur all over his sheets is the definition of post-nut clarity, hitting you like a freight train. He has to do the walk of shame past the toy factory where the elves are silently judging him and taking bets on when the breakup happens. But Santa is hooked on the drama. He is addicted to the chaos because for the first time in a millennium, he feels something other than jolly. He feels dangerous, he feels alive, he feels like a teenager who just started smoking cigarettes behind the gym to impress a burnout. The Grinch is playing hard to get, constantly threatening to steal Christmas again, just to keep Santa on his toes and emotionally compromised. It is a toxic cycle of abuse and eggnog that is going to end with the North Pole melting not from global warming, but from friction. Imagine the couple's costume possibilities, though. They're basically doing a Beauty and the Beast roleplay, but both of them are actually the Beast. They show up to the Halloween party and everyone just stops drinking and stares because the vibe is so incredibly cursed and uncomfortable. The Easter Bunny tries to make small talk and the Grinch just stares at him until he slowly backs away into a bush like Homer Simpson. This relationship is the ultimate proof that love is not only blind, but it is also deaf-dumb and has absolutely zero sense of smell. We are witnessing the downfall of a holiday icon who traded legacy and cookies for a fling with a green guy who lives in garbage. And you know what the worst part is? We are all going to watch the reality show when it inevitably drops on Netflix next year. It will be called Slaying It, or Pole Position. And it will feature confessionals where the Grinch complains about Santa's breathing while Santa cries. The season finale will be the wedding officiated by Jack Skellington because he is the only one weird enough to understand their twisted, dark love language. They will exchange rings made out of recycled soda cans and promise to make everyone else's lives miserable for as long as they both shall live. The reception will serve stale popcorn and lukewarm tap water, and the first dance will be to a heavy metal cover of Silent Night. Guests will leave feeling confused, hungry, and slightly dirty, which is honestly the exact vibe of the entire holiday season if we are being honest. So this year, if you find a half-eaten sandwich or a bag of trash under your tree, do not be mad. Just understand the context. Understand that Santa is going through a phase, a really gross green furry phase, and we just have to support him until it blows over. Or maybe this is the new normal and we all just have to accept that Christmas is now about angst, bad hygiene, and questionable romantic choices. Look, at the end of the day, this unholy union is a perfect metaphor for the absolute dumpster fire that the holidays have become lately. We used to pretend everything was perfect, but now we have Santa banging a trash gremlin, and honestly, it is the representation we actually deserve. It kills the pressure to be perfect, because if the guy running the show is dating a literal garbage monster, your burnt turkey is fine. You do not need to impress your in-laws when the North Pole's power couple looks like a fever dream invented by a sleep-deprived weirdo. So stop stressing about the wrapping paper matching the ribbons and just embrace the chaotic energy of a jolly fat man making terrible life choices. Maybe the true meaning of Christmas isn't about peace on earth, but finding someone who tolerates your neurotic nonsense and lets you be a freak. If Santa can find love in a landfill with a guy who hates noise, there is hope for every single one of us degenerates out there. This Christmas Eve, do not leave out milk and cookies because that is practically an insult to the new regime running the holiday show this year. Instead, leave out a bottle of tequila, a pack of menthols, and maybe some onion rings to appease the green stepdad of the holiday season. And if you hear footsteps on the roof, do not look up because you really do not want to see what is happening in that sleigh.